Hola y'all, it's Jessie. I want to show you how to make the best meatloaf of your life, and everyone in your family is going to enjoy it, guaranteed. First thing I'm going to do, my hair up. Okay, now we're ready to cook. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take my mixing bowl. I'm going to take some Ritz crackers. Kind of loud, I know. But I'm gonna take 1.5 packs of these Ritz crackers, put them into a large Ziploc bag. Just like this. And I'm going to seal it and crush them really, really well. Now that I have my Ritz crackers all crushed up, I'm gonna put them into my mixing bowl and I'm gonna add 3 eggs on top. I'm just gonna take a fork and mix those crackers and those 3 eggs together. Just give it a good little mix. And then I'm going to add 1/2 cup of milk and give it a really good mix. I'm gonna do 1 tablespoon of onion powder. Now, a lot of people like to do raw onion. They also like to saute their onion. But for my kids and myself, I don't really prefer the crunch in my meatloaf. I want the flavor, but I don't want that texture. So onion powder is a great substitute. 1 tablespoon is gonna go right in. The next ingredient is gonna be a little bit different. You may even think it's going to be weird, but we are gonna add 4 ounces of mozzarella cheese. Sometimes people add cheddar cheese, mild cheddar, sharp cheddar cheese. What this does is it keeps our meatloaf nice and juicy and tender and even a little bit creamy. But cheddar cheese has a strong flavor on its own. Mozzarella doesn't have much of a flavor at all. So we're gonna get the benefits of that tenderness, that moistness, even that little bit of cheesiness without a strong flavor to take away from the meatloaf. 4 ounces is going right in. Mix that really well. Okay, next is salt and pepper. And our crackers already have some salt, so you're getting some in there. And some pepper. And I'm going to give it another mix. And the last thing we're gonna add to our mixture is our meat. Now, the reason I add it last is because I don't wanna overmix the meat. I don't want it to become tough. I want it to stay tender. So it is the last ingredient that we're gonna add to all of our ingredients in the bowl. Now it's time to add our meat. I'm gonna be adding 2 pounds of ground beef here. This is 80-20, and this is the one exception where I use beef instead of deer meat. I use deer meat for everything, but I do not like deer meat for meatloaf. And I think it's because deer meat is so incredibly lean that it dries out super fast in the oven. So beef for me is the way to go. 80-20, 2 pounds. The best utensils you have to mix are your hands. That's exactly what we're gonna use. Clean hands. Now that my mixture is completely mixed together, I have lined a baking sheet with some aluminum foil, and I'm just gonna form it into a loaf. So I'm not gonna bake it in one of those loaf pans. I want it to be able to get air and to get crispy around the edges. And I'm also gonna put a surprise on top, 2 surprises on top. have formed my meatloaf into a pretty uniform loaf here on a baking sheet lined with aluminum foil. And now I'm going to put a sauce on top of it and then a layer of bacon. The sauce is simple. It is brown sugar. Typically it's brown sugar, mustard, and ketchup. But today I don't have any brown sugar, so I'm gonna be using regular white sugar. Let me show you how to make it. The first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take 2 tablespoons of white sugar. If you have brown sugar, use that instead, but I happen to be out. The next thing I'm gonna use is 3/4 of a cup of ketchup. And I'm gonna add this ketchup right into the bowl of my sugar. Very last ingredient I'm gonna add is a teaspoon of mustard. Just like that. I'm gonna give my sauce a good little mix. That looks great. I'm going to spoon this mixture on top of my meatloaf. Let me show you how I do it. This is how you do it when you only have one person filming and cooking at the same time. You do the best you can. I'm gonna give it a nice layer of this sauce. It's gonna seem like a lot of sauce for your meatloaf, but you can never have too much, honestly, because this is gonna keep it moist. It's gonna give it an excellent flavor. Make sure to cover it on all sides and on the top really well. And the last thing we're gonna add is a layer of bacon on top. Let me show you. Okay, now some people do their bacon long ways, but I actually like to cut my bacon in half and lay them across the meatloaf, and it's perfect. Just like that. And once the top of my meatloaf has been covered, I'm just gonna go around the sides. Sticks nicely because of that ketchup, sugar, and mustard mixture. It's almost like glue. Half of a pack of bacon cut in half is just the right amount to completely cover all sides of my meatloaf. When I started this process, I preheated my oven to 350 degrees. I'm going to put my meatloaf in there. It's gonna be time to eat. By the way, my husband loves Cracker Barrel's meatloaf. And this is a copycat version. Okay guys, I cut me off a little piece. Look at that crispy bacon on top. The moment of truth. It looks so tender, so moist. Like I said, that bacon is nice and crispy. It's got a little bit of burnt on it. So good. Okay, here we go. I don't know how you feel about meatloaf, but if you're weirded out by it, or you've never had a good one, make it. You have to make it. It is the best meatloaf you've ever eaten in your entire life. Cracker Barrel has nothing on my recipe. Hope you enjoy. Stay tuned for more recipes. Adios.